This is Eye on Hong Kong with Key.
And this is Harminder, and we'll be discussing the top news for the week involving Hong Kong and China. And welcome to the 35th episode of the show. I am back. Key, did you miss me?
Yeah, very much actually.
Really?
It's so stressful without you actually.
It's not that hard of a job.
It is. I can't remember the address of our website.
I noticed that when I watched it. Anyways, we have a guest right now instead of the second half. We have James Han, you said senator of
of the Professional Teachers Union.
That's right, and I think it's
the founder of the League in Defense of Hong Kong's Freedoms, and another organization called the Progressive Teachers Alliance.
Yes.
So we thought it would be very appropriate to bring you on, considering the week's news and what's been going on in Hong Kong and China. So let's just get right to it.
Sure.
All right. So we have CY Leung's attack on undergrad, the newsletter / I guess magazine that is published by the university, HKU?
Yeah,
HKU that publishes it. And HKU came out with the undergrad had a rebuttal by a pseudonym, not sure who wrote it, but it literally advocated saying that we must defend our land from the communist threat. It's basically saying if independence is what Hong Kong needs to do to defend our land, that is what we must strive for, and we must defend against the Red Terror and all that stuff that you used to hear before is suddenly making a comeback. But isn't it the fault of CY Leung for stirring the pot in the first place?
Hong Kong people have to thank CY for this.
Yeah.
Because in Hong Kong, very few people talk about independence of Hong Kong. And now he has raised the issue, and everybody is talking about it.
Exactly. I don't think anybody... Well, it may have been on their mind, but it wasn't spoken out loud like it is now. Now it's on the street. You want to talk about independence? It's normal all of a sudden when it was more taboo before.
Should we name him as a father of Hong Kong independence now? Because he was the one who making it so popular.
I didn't even hear about this newsletter before he mentioned it as the first thing in his policy address.
Yeah, because Hong Kong University students always write articles. They always publish their opinions in their newsletter. And never in Hong Kong have we experienced a chief executive to criticize the articles in a newsletter published by the university students. This is crazy.
I think in the colonial time and when the Hong Kong this magazine, they also published something about the leftists, and they criticized the leftists as well, and the colonial government at that time.
Yeah.
At that time, the governor actually, they didn't really make a big deal about it.
No,
because they just let them to write what they want.
Let them be, because we are advocating freedom of expression, and especially university students, they should be allowed to write whatever they think, whatever they feel.
Sure.
And CY is in fact, crazily trying to use this as an excuse to attack Hong Kong students.
Do you think that he has any hidden agenda?
Of course he has, judging from what he has been speaking about the occupation movement, how they attack, the students of scholarism and the students of the Federation of Hong Kong students. And CY Leung is making use of this opportunity to attack these students and trying to brainwash Hong Kong people and threaten Hong Kong students never to go beyond the line.
But, in all fairness to the colonial governor, before that, if they were attacking the colonial administration through newspapers, they would shut down the newspaper. So I'm not going to let the colonial administration off that easily.
Right. But this was like long.
Sure.
Ago.
No, things do change over time. But with the thought of independence, is that realistic? It's not really realistic, is it? Because one, even the British were like said, well, if we wanted to keep Hong Kong, there is absolutely no way we could defend it militarily.
Mm-hmm.
And second, we have no major funding behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Ukrainian revolution was funded by Western governments and the EU. I mean, major funding. We don't have that either. As much as the government says that there's foreign influences, there's been no proof. Even if it is, I don't see it being much. Maybe there's moral support, some slight support, but nothing major. Is it really? And even if we shouted at the top of our lungs for independence, I don't expect the international community to back us. All of that works against it. Is it just a pipe dream?
Well, in fact, Hong Kong is not ready for independence. Hong Kong people are not ready for independence. What we are fighting for is just one country, two systems to be really implemented in Hong Kong. And now that CY Leung has brought it up, people are starting to consider it. Because it's now within our mindset.
Yeah.
We have another option. Independence can be one option. Of course, that probably will depend on how Hong Kong political systems evolves and how Hong Kong people keep on their fighting for true democracy.
If one country, two systems continues to degrade like it is, especially since that white paper, until 2047, is that the end game?
Yeah. It could be. Yeah. It could be. Because now, in fact, a lot of people are talking about peaceful movements cannot help us achieve what we want. And some are even talking about, we have to start thinking about more aggressive or more, I hate to use the word violent, but more aggressive and more effective measures to get what we want.
But after the occupation, we have already occupied some main roads and Mong Kok and Causeway Bay. What else can we do now? It seems that we are running out of any methods that we can do to push for.
Yeah, the only power we have is people power. So we have to raise Hong Kong people's awareness and try to, get more and more people to truly come out and fight for what we want. Because now that we have a lot of people who probably do not understand very well what we are fighting for, they even misunderstood the occupation movements, the reason behind the occupation movement. And what we can do now is try to, get into the communities and talk to citizens and try to convince them that if Hong Kong does not have true democracy, everything else will be in vain. So this is what we probably, most Democrats like us are trying to do. To get into the communities and try to get people understand more. And in the end, when people come out, we will have the power.
Right.
I think this quote is very timely. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. John F. Kennedy. So I think that's something that the administration, central government needs to think about. Do you want... I mean, even if there's a violent revolution, we can't win because we don't have guns. We don't have any weapons.
Yeah.
It would have to be as peaceful as possible. But we want the one country, two systems policy as it was formulated initially to work. Unfortunately, it's being changed to whatever they want to interpret it to be now. And that is something they need to watch out for. All right, moving on. We have a suggestion that... pan-Democrats can run in the election framework handed down by the MPCSC August 31st decision plus the basic law. Okay. These are the three candidates according to Albert Chen, the legal scholar, Basic Law Committee. All right. We got Anna Wu,
Yeah.
We got Christine Low, Anthony Chung.
Okay.
All three work for the government right now.
Yeah.
Are they pan-dems?
Yeah, that's probably the first question.
They were pan-dem.
Like when?
Well, before they joined the government. Whenever people join the government, they will no longer have free wills. They have to listen to CY's orders and do whatever the government tells them to do. They cannot have their own opinions. Of course, these three are more democratic than the rest. That's why they raise these three people's names.
Would these three potential candidates be enough, or is it still considered screening?
I don't think the Chinese Communist government would allow these three to appear.
Even these are too radical for them?
These three are too radical. They will
How
not
come?
appear on the list.
Wow.
I'm sure. I can bet with you. They will never appear on the candidate
So we're
list.
still stuck with CY Leung, Regina Ip, and Anthony Leung as our three choices.
Or maybe Tree Gun.
I would tell everybody to flee the city if Tree Gun was the chief executive. Why is everybody making that joke? Everybody is saying, remember Alan Leung was on and he was also joking about Tree Gun being the chief
Because
executive?
it's a joke.
It's a joke. It makes us laugh because in this kind of situation in Hong Kong, we need some, lighter
At least it would be funny.
issues so that we can laugh about.
True.
At least it would be very entertaining if he was the chief executive.
But
All
talking
right.
about this news, I think Albert Chan, as a legal scholar, and he's putting out this proposal to Hong Kong people. Do you think that we will accept it? They allow them to run, but they actually, even we elected them, they wouldn't be the CEO. They wouldn't be appointed or by the central government. Does Albert Chan really think that Hong Kong people that stupid to accept this?
I guess this was a type of screening. They've already been screened to be good enough to be in government. So they might be good enough to run for the top job.
But we have to bear in mind that even if they allow these three to appear on the list, they will not come out.
Right.
There is a gate. You know,
Exactly.
Half of the nomination committee members have to agree before they can be allowed
Completely
to be really
unreasonable.
on the candidate list. So they are in, they will not be on the list.
And when Rim-Ski-Yun was asked, because Ronnie Tong, the legislator for the Civic Party, said, well, maybe we can accept the proposal if you get rid of the functional constituencies in 2020, and in 2022 you lower the nomination threshold from half to maybe a third. And he said, Rim-Ski-Yun's like, well, as much as I'd like to get his vote, I don't think that's possible. I mean, if they can't even do that, there's there'll probably no change if we accept this so-called election reform now, because by 2022 the biggest decision will probably be made. Well, 1,200, what is 1,600 now? That 1,200. Oh, we'll increase it to 1,600. That's the big change that'll happen. And then the next time might be 2,000, and by 2047 probably be barely 10,000.
Exactly.
This isn't evolvement of the system. It's just moving chess pieces around, but nobody's going to win except Beijing.
If they make such promise, I don't think that I will accept it personally, because they make the promise in year 2008, they make the promise in year 2005, and now they make another promise. You think
93? I mean, it goes all the way back then when who was it? Li Peng. I can't remember. I think he was the deputy for the Hong Kong affairs, but he said that
Lau Pin.
Maybe Lu Ping said, well, how you elect in Hong Kong is none of our business. We won't interfere in all that.
That's a lie.
And of course, it turned out to be another lie. Beijing has proved itself that it will not stick to promises. It will reinterpret everything it feels later. When the situation shows that it's time to put up or shut up, they will say, well, no, that's not what we meant. We meant this. Here's
Yeah.
a white paper to prove it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I don't trust them.
No.
If they
Not
were
at all.
trustworthy government,
Not
I
at
may
all.
have considered it.
Yeah.
It's just that they've continually proven that we cannot be
We cannot
trusted.
trust them.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we Hong Kong people are thinking. No, there is no trust between Hong Kong citizens and the Beijing government.
All right, we'll move on. We have Hong Kong's favorite political group, Silent Majority for Hong Kong. One of its members, Cheng Chek-yan,
Right.
I'm probably butchering that name, but said that Hong Kong should work on abolishing the language of English because it's one of the ties to the colonial administration, the previous one, and that if you get rid of it, suddenly we will fall down to our knees and love the motherland and the central government and everything it has to offer. I don't know if the guy is losing his mind.
He is definitely.
But if he doesn't understand, English is one thing that distinguishes Hong Kong from the rest of the mainland since it's an official language.
Yeah.
1. 2, English is still the world language, de facto world language.
Right.
3, legal, medical, academic, higher level academic, and IT. The universal language is English.
English.
All 4 industries are pretty significant for Hong Kong. All right. I mean, even Regina Ip you didn't agree with that. She's like, that's insane. Basically, that's what she was saying. I mean, are these people just trying to appease and say whatever
Yes,
they...
I think
Yes.
they are.
I mean,
Yes,
Robert
they are.
Chow speaks very good English. Okay?
Yeah.
I think, did he give up his British passport yet?
Yeah, that I don't
No,
know.
probably not.
Probably not. Everybody needs an
Well, you
escape
can
plan.
reclaim it anytime.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Even if
You
you give
can
it up, you
reclaim
can
it.
reclaim it anytime.
Right, right.
So, I mean,
You're
I'm
speechless.
speechless that somebody could actually openly say that with a straight face.
I don't understand what he said about Chinese language. Then is he talking about simplified Chinese or Mandarin? I mean, in Hong Kong, we use traditional Chinese. We speak Cantonese. That's the Chinese that we meant.
Right.
That has no link with mainland China. So it wouldn't improve or make us love China more if we use Cantonese or traditional Chinese here. Unless he meant that we should use simplified Chinese and speak Mandarin.
He said that?
No, I mean, if he wants to...
If that's
promote-
what...
He probably
Yeah.
did not.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think that if they actually implemented this...
Get rid of English.
Yeah. What would actually suddenly street signs would not need English? Well, I'm sure they would still be there, but that's gone. Do you think all these expats would actually come here? Yeah. I mean, we have corporate headquarters here, like Infinity is an example, is here instead of Japan, where it's from. It's Nissan,
Yeah.
but their headquarters is here. Many have headquarters here, and they said one of the big reasons we're here is English is an official language.
Yeah.
Are they just working to kill the city off and thinking we can just run to the mainland?
He's just talking nonsense.
But what about the...
I think this whole group has
He's
talked
talking
nonsense since
nonsense.
it was founded.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But what about the education nowadays in Hong Kong? How about the English? Is it still very important in the high school?
Yes, we are advocating biliteracy and trilingualism, and this is the education policy. And students in Hong Kong are taught English and Chinese, and they are encouraged to speak English, Cantonese, and Putonghua.
Sure.
So that's trilingualism.
Yes.
So how come people can be so unreasonable to get rid of English? You know, even the Chinese people themselves are trying to catch up with English. They are learning English and using English to communicate with the world. So how can they get rid of English in
They
Hong
send
Kong?
their kids to Western schools
Yeah,
overseas.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
if it was so important, they'd send them the other way.
Yeah, are they going to kick out all these non-native speakers in Hong Kong?
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, yeah. You know? I mean, it's scary to see these types of people
Yeah.
coming out and saying
Yeah.
ridiculous nonsensical things like that without thinking about the bigger picture.
No.
Yes, it's not the major language. Only 30% speak it fluently. 10% are non-Chinese or less in this city, but it's still a big part of Hong Kong.
But funny is that guy actually from Malaysia.
Oh my goodness.
English is the
It's
first
huge
language.
there, yeah.
Yes. But Cantonese.
I mean, why
speak
are
Cantonese.
people having such a hard time with two languages? India has 9 official languages, and they're getting along pretty well.
Yeah.
Other countries have multiple languages, and I just don't go to Europe. People speak at least 3 or 4 different languages there. They don't have a hard time. Anyways, other than that, that's to the expat speaks on Cantonese. All right. We have flu going around in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Every day people are dying, sometimes a dozen. The thing that is buried in the news stories is that most of these people are quite elderly. They've already got chronic disease.
They're getting younger.
Right, or they get the very young where their immune systems are still building. And then the answer is flu shot. Okay. All I can say is do your research before getting a flu shot, because it's not the end all and be all of protecting yourself against the flu.
So you're actually against the
Personally,
flu shot?
I am against the flu shot.
I'm not going to take the flu shot.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Personally,
How come?
I'm against the flu shot,
I like going to the doctor.
but
Not taking flu shot.
not taking a flu shot. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to tell other people whether they should or shouldn't, but do your research, because the research points towards the flu shot being quite ineffective, and always ask to read the insert that comes within the shot, because people usually read this fact sheet that says everything is good, it does great stuff, but then read the fact sheet.
Right.
Usually it says we haven't done trials, or it's quite ineffective and all that stuff, and some people have gotten deathly sick from it. Some people have gotten injured, some people get the flu.
I see.
Yeah.
And the best defense is a strong, healthy immune system, and get some vitamin D. Go out and get some sun. The reason we get so sick in the winter is because we don't have sun.
Yeah.
It's cloudy, it's winter, it's gloomy. So that's if you get some sun, you have a good balanced diet. If you're eating McDonald's and sugar all day, you're going to have a
build
really
up your own immune system.
exactly. You're going to have a poor immune system.
Not everyone wants to be brown like you.
Well, no, I mean getting a nice tan is not a bad thing.
Yes.
I'm just saying that people just need to do their research. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the medical hype that the flu shot is, because in the States, they made the flu shot, they got the strain wrong. So people took the wrong flu shot
Yeah, in Hong Kong, they took the wrong shot.
as well.
Yeah, as
there you
well.
go.
Yeah.
So research natural ways first to build your immune system. Then think about the medical system and read the insert, read literature widely available
But
online.
it's sad to see the chief of the Food and Health Department not mentioning what procedures or what preventive process we Hong Kong people should take. Okay, wash your hands, wash your hands.
It's simple stuff.
And then we learned that already 32 schools. In 32 schools, children have suffered the flu attack. It broke out in 32 schools.
Right.
And the director of education department did not say anything to help students in schools to get preventive measures. This is outrageous.
Simple stuff. Wash your hands, get some sun, drop sugar, because sugar is your it lowers your immune system. Drink lots of herbal tea. I mean, some really simple stuff. Eat fruit, get vitamin C.
Well, I don't do any of that.
Well, not everybody's Superman like Yuki. Just simple stuff. Do that first. If you still want to take a flu shot, that's up to you, but read all the literature. That's all I'm saying. All right, moving on. We have... I guess we'll just go through this quickly. We have ATV again.
Yes.
Poor ATV. I don't want to see them go. I like competition, but they have a February 13th hearing. If the tribunal says, no, you must pay your staff, you can't pay for it, liquidate the company, they can do it.
Yeah,
and that's the end of ATV.
But
And
they're
I
not
don't-
going to do it.
You don't think so?
No. No,
Why?
because the communist China is supporting them from behind. We know all the time the ATV.
But why can't they pay their staff then?
Well, they're trying to teach them a lesson.
Oh, why?
Well, that's
Teach
interesting.
them a lesson because they are not doing well. They are criticized by Hong Kong citizens. They are not performing, well enough. So the Chinese communists probably are considered, okay, I'll teach you a lesson, and next time when I support you with our money, you better do better.
But if they put up propaganda all day long, nobody's going to watch it. They're still going to be down there.
But it's like a CCTV.
CCTV.
Yeah, CCTV.
Yeah, they're also criticized, but they're
need
doing
it.
well.
They need it because they cannot just let ATV die.
Well, hopefully something comes around. I don't like seeing this. Anyways, we'll be back in the second half. We'll talk more in depth with Mr. James Han, and stick around for that.